Let's get straight to this now. Michael Kroger is, of course, former Victorian Liberal Party president, and he fits very much in the system where not a lot has changed for you, Michael. Yet the media, Channel 9 in particular, 15-minute advertorial, all has been solved. Yet on Friday, the 2-minute exchange shows incompetence or arrogance, both of which should be sackable offences.
Absolutely. By the way, we thought when Channel 9 merged with the Fairfax Press that Channel 9 would influence the Fairfax Press to be more independent, but it's actually gone the other way, Paul, which is why you get these terrible advertorials that you talked about.
Correct.
But look, of course, mate, he should resign. As you said, he brought on the 1st of July industrial manslaughter laws in Victoria, that if an employer is negligent, they can be charged with a criminal offence. 700 people have died. What is happening to him? Nothing. He keeps his job. Corporate Australia has allowed themselves to be flooded with laws, rules, regulations, corporations law amendments, ASIC regulators, prudential authorities, etc., regulating their behaviour. They get sacked, fined, sued, dismissed, whatever. This bloke keeps his job. The clash of civilisations now, mate, is a clash between the haves, who are the politicians, and the have-nots, who are the business community. Nothing happens to these people. He's had no reduction in salary. He hasn't lost his job. He's still there. Goodness me. The gap between the rich and the poor, politically, the elites and the non-elites, has never been wider, Paul.
So, Stephen Conroy, well, I'm sure you will push back about every word that's been said in the past 17 minutes of this show. I want to ask one question and one question only. What does accountability look like for Daniel Andrews when we've identified what accountability looks like for a minister, we've identified what accountability should look like for the public servants, and we've identified what accountability is for the suits in the boardroom if someone dies on a construction site? Yet he's not going to resign. He won't quit. What does accountability mean?
Well, the Ruby Princess debacle didn't see anybody resign in New South Wales. The health minister
should have sacked him. Should have sacked him.
Minister. Well, I mean, that's fine for you to say.
No, that's what I've said the whole time.
Is you're focusing on
that's what I've said
Andrews.
The whole time.
Now, I think the most critical evidence was given a few days before, because we still don't have an answer. And I don't think it looks good for the Victorian government or for the Premier when the Premier says, I've asked the question, who was responsible for the decision on the security guards? And his answer is, and I couldn't find out. I think that reflects very badly on how the situation evolved. But if you're trying to get to the bottom of it, I thought the most interesting and important evidence was from the former police commissioner. And there's a fascinating article called The Missing 6 Minutes in one of the Fairfax papers, where it outlines and shows for the first time the text messages of the former police commissioner. And it runs through how he's very unhappy. He's heard the rumours coming out of the National Cabinet, and he's very unhappy. And you can see that from the tenor of the text. He's texting the AFP chief commissioner, and he's saying, what's going on? I'm hearing these rumours. Then there's a sequence of exchanges. Then there's a 6-minute gap. And he then texts back the AFP commissioner, and he says, it's okay, sorted, or words to the effect, it's sorted, it's going to be security guards. So he knew the day before. So the key question, which unfortunately he had a memory fade on, and we should all encourage him to rummage in his memory, but I would have thought the Royal Commission could and should have asked for a dump of his phone calls so they could say, who did you call in that 6 minutes? Because at the end of the day, we want to know why the police commissioner, who is objecting to the police being used for quarantine, who did he talk to that gave him comfort that they supported his position? And that is the absolute nub of who made this decision. And until we get an answer to that, the first person coming out of the whole process to actually say, no, this has been the decision, should tell us who he spoke to, or he should give us his phone records so we can see who he called. Because he didn't just suddenly send that text. He clearly had a communication with somebody. Was it the police minister? Was it the Premier? Was it the chief medical officer? Was it the health minister? Who was it that caused. And unless we get the truth to that, it's still going to be very hard, I think, for the inquiry to find out who said it first. And that is what we're all trying to get to the bottom of.
I agree completely. All right. Look, we're at the end of the evidence stage, though, so whether they're going to be able to reopen or not, we'll see what happens here.